M. Night Shyamalan has had a very up and down career. Unfortunately, it feels like he's hit rock bottom again. Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Do or do not. There is no try.
I always talk about how I wish more filmmakers in Hollywood valued originality. And M. Night Shyamalan happens to be one of those directors that creates movies from original ideas. And that's definitely something I cannot take away from him. The problem, however, is that a movie has to be more than just original. It also has to be good.
That makes sense.
That's like saying just because a movie doesn't have an agenda in it in 2021, that somehow makes it a good movie. It just doesn't work that way. There are still certain aspects from a filmmaking perspective that need to be of high quality. So Old is the newest film from writer-director M. Night Shyamalan. And yes, while it is an original idea, M. Night himself has become a bit of a cliche. He now has a documented history of coming up with great concepts and not being able to execute them properly. And unfortunately, Old is another perfect example of that. It features a couple of families on vacation, and they're directed to a top-secret secluded beach where they quickly become trapped due to some unknown anomaly, an anomaly that forces them to age rapidly, and it basically reduces their whole life to just one day. Now, on paper, that sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Imagine what you could do with characters who know that they have a small window of life left. The lessons that could be taught about realizing what's important and learning to appreciate life more.
Message!
I suppose that M. Night does try to address some of these things in this movie, but it all seems very shallow. The issue for me begins with the script, or the delivery of that script. This movie has some of the most clunky and exposition-y dialogue that I've ever witnessed in my entire life of watching movies. There were so many instances where I thought to myself, people don't talk like that. Then there's moments where characters are explaining something that we could have very easily figured out on our own. But the movie doesn't trust us to crack the code, I guess.
Fuck me, right?
And then they take it a step further and actually over-explain things at times. Some ideas in this movie would have worked so much better if they just left things up to interpretation, rather than blatantly throwing these ideas directly in our face. I've only seen this movie once, obviously, but I'm not entirely sure the rules on this beach are consistent from scene to scene. Some characters seem to age quicker than others, or not at all. I'm looking at you, mid-size sedan. And by the way, yes, that is one of the characters' names in this movie.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Midsize is a character that spent considerably more time on the beach than the rest of the people, but yet he doesn't seem to be aging as fast, and that's never really explained. Outside of the whole black don't crack joke that they try to shoehorn into a scene.
Had you ever heard of the healing power of laughter?
I would consider M. Night a horror thriller director, yet there's no tension or relatively scary moments in this movie to speak of. That's a bit of a problem. Now, it could be chalked up to the atrocious dialogue and the wooden acting taking me out of the movie, but when these horrific things are supposed to be happening on screen, I just didn't care. How can you possibly care about these characters being in danger when the movie hasn't given you a reason to?
I don't care!
I will say this, for the two characters that aged the most on screen, that being the ones that were the youngest when they arrived at the beach, I thought the casting for each stage of their life was well done and pretty believable. However, M. Night does employ this filmmaking technique where he doesn't seem to show the full faces of characters at times. This was obviously done to hide the aging process, I get it, but for some reason the setup of these shots just seems so awkward to me. Like it really comes off like he's trying to hide something. It just seems like there would have been a more creative way to do that. Remember when I said M. Night is a cliche? Well, what's his thing? His thing is twist endings. That's what he's known for. I would take it a step further and add to that, actually, and say that his true thing is an obscure reference or sign that's set up early in the movie that will somehow inexplicably explain to the main characters how to get out of a situation. You know, like Swing Away in Signs, or the water in Signs, or the asthma in Signs. Basically, the signs are everywhere. I believe that M. Night Shyamalan is a capable director. He's already shown me that he can make good or even great movies. Unbreakable, The Sixth Sense, Split, Signs, fuck the rest of those movies. I just feel like sometimes he gets bogged down by these lofty ideas that he has. So much so that when it comes time to translate them from the paper to the screen, he seems to kind of lose his way and isn't quite sure how to pull it off visually. Don't get me wrong, I do appreciate the attempt to try something new. I just wish the movie itself was a lot better. But unfortunately, this movie doesn't quite stick the landing for me, and it leaves a lot to be desired as far as delivering powerful messages about life. There is a twist ending in this movie, which I will not spoil here.
You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know.
But when it happened, it did leave me feeling like a lot of the other twists do in M. Night's movies. A little too on the nose and uninspiring. And in some cases, revealing too much. To whittle his lofty ideas down to these moments where he has to have a twist, it seems like it always does the movie a disservice. Bottom line is, Old is a poorly written, poorly acted, poorly executed, original idea that left me more frustrated than anything. Most likely because I know that he is capable of doing better. All I can hope for is that this will cause another M. Night Shyamalan renaissance, kind of like when he made Split and I thought he was back. But unfortunately, he made Glass right after that and completely crushed my dreams. But as far as Old goes, I'm just gonna have to be honest and I'm gonna have to give it the Angry Rocky.
That's right, it stinks!
So have you seen Old? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.